CFB26 has a lot of brand new archetypes, as y'all already know at this point. But what comes brand new archetypes is levels, man. Certain archetypes will be better than others, whether it's development-wise, speed, attributes, whatever. We're going to cover all of that in this series, man. We're starting off with the defensive line. We're going to cover the best archetypes, why you should recruit them, why you should not, how they develop, and why maybe they don't develop, and some things you need to avoid, man. It's surprising. We have last year the hybrid safety, horrible, didn't develop. We have a version of that this year at a few different positions, and we're going to start with the D-line. If y'all enjoyed this style of content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Go check out the Twitch. We're live streaming every day. I plan on doing the entire team, all 22, whatever, however many positions. We're going to do everyone, but y'all got to let me know what order y'all want to see. So we're starting with the D-line. Do y'all want to see receivers next? Quarterbacks, y'all let me know which y'all want to see next, and we'll prioritize it. All right, man, so this year, the defensive line has a little bit different verbiage. So we have the left edge, and we have the right edge, and then we have the defensive tackles, and we'll cover all of that in this video. And it comes with that new archetypes, and we still have a couple of the same one. So for your edge rushers, this is going to be linebackers and then also defensive linemen. They just all grouped together as edges. And first is the speed rusher. You have the power rusher, and one of the new archetypes is going to be pure power, which is an interesting archetype because you had the power rusher, but now it's just pure power, and we'll get into that one. That one is super interesting. And then the last one is going to be edge setter for your defensive ends. And one thing you should know here, man. So let me get a backstory. This is a dynasty. We're 5 to 6 years in the future. So every single player on this screen is AI generated. All of the real life NIL guys have moved on with their life, whether they 9 to 5 did or they went to the NFL. But the point is, like, we get to see how these archetypes actually develop, and we get to see why some develop better than others. And one other thing to note while we early in this video, man, why is it the case that the right edge is way better than the left edges? I mean, just look at this screen, look at the overalls. So you obviously get a 99 overall left edge. That's good. But on average, all of these right edges are better in overall. And I noticed that at a few positions, man. Right guards seem to be better than left guards. And maybe I'm tripping, maybe I'm looking too far into it, but have y'all noticed that also? And I bring that up because looking at the left edges and just looking at the top ones in the nation, you know, you got a speed rusher as that 99 overall, and then you get a bunch of power rushers, you get another speed rusher, power rushers. You notice you don't get a power archetype down here to a 90 overall, and I like to look at the overall in the top right corner, which is going to be that overall before the tactician boosts. He's an 88 overall, and that's your highest edge rusher, left edge, I should say, 88 overall. But then you look at the right edge, and it's vastly different. 94 overall now for your highest pure power edge rusher. So I don't know if it's a difference between left edge or right edge, or if we just got lucky, a coincidence. But I don't really believe in coincidence. So part of me think if you pit players at right edge, they'll develop better. So let's just look at all the right edges, man. We're going to ignore the left edge because, yeah, I don't know fully what's going on over there. So one thing to note here is you seeing a lot of these archetypes similar in overall, at least at the right edge position. Now with the power archetype, you could get elite speed. You get elite speed at any position because development is a little bit random when you have it on auto, and obviously the CPU, they're going to auto develop their players. So you get a power rusher with insane skill caps, coming in with 95 speed. He obviously developed that. The block shedding only 79, but you got 95 strength, 93 finesse moves, 89 power moves. He's a power rusher with better finesse moves, speed than anything else. But that's an amazing player. I would argue he's the best defensive lineman, probably better than this speed rusher attribute wise, man. If you go attribute to attribute, that guy is probably better in overall to me. But also, the speed rushers are no slouch, man. 87 speed, you still getting good power moves and good finesse moves. Now, the thing is, the block shedding is not going to be good. This all is dependent on what defense you run. 4-3, 3-3-2, 3-2-5, 3-3-5, whatever you run, it all depends. So if you're running any type 3-4 defense, you might not want speed rushers. You might want to lean more towards the power rushers or the pure power because those guys don't come in with a little bit more block shedding. If you run a traditional 4-3, well, speed rushers might be your way to go. But all depends, man. But speed rusher, power rushers, both very valid archetypes, man. Now the thing about the pure rusher, man, the pure power is the proper name for it, is they could rush the passer, but they could only power rush, man. They would never be able to finesse rush. They would never be able to finesse rush, and I'll show you exactly why. So let's look at the power rusher and press triangle on him and just see how expensive it is for him to upgrade, man. And for him to upgrade, his power costs 7. It's already pretty high. For the finesse, costs 9. For the power, costs 14. That's always going to be more expensive for them to get stronger, as that's difficult to do in real life. It's tough for you to get stronger and faster. So quickness also costs 15. Both of those, every single position group will be more expensive. So that's kind of why you'll see in this video some of these other maybe archetypes just don't develop, because they focus on power and on quickness. Run stopping ability, only 5. It's cheap, but he's not really upgrading it as much as maybe you want to. That block shedding could be a little bit higher, but it's not horrible for a defensive end or edge rusher, what we call it in this game. And IQ costs 5. So just keep in mind, whatever that archetype is, that's usually what they upgrade first. Usually, not all the case. Like I said, upgrading is a little bit random, but they usually upgrade their archetype. So he's a power guy, so usually he's going to upgrade that power first. And, so it's usually a little bit cheaper. And you see here it's cheaper than the finesse moves, but the finesse moves also is higher. So for some reason, he's going more into a finesse type rusher, and you'll see that occasionally. Now let's look at the speed rusher. We know they're going to come in with a lot less block shedding than all the other archetypes. Unfortunately, you're not able to see development traits, but we do see he's a 4-star. Can only assume he's like at least star development. Now for his power to go up, it only costs 5. So that's the good thing about these speed rushers. For them to become well-rounded, it's cheap. It's cheap, man. It's cheap for them to become well-rounded. So if you're manually upgrading these players, I think speed rushers is going to be, for edge rushers, is going to be one of your better archetypes to pick, because you could become a great power rusher, finesse rusher. The finesse costs so much because it's already at 97 and it's damn near maxed out. But if it was down a couple categories, it might only cost 6 to upgrade. The more you upgrade it, the more it costs to upgrade. Power is always going to be expensive, man. It's always going to be expensive. It costs 12. He's not super strong. We don't need him to be, man. Quickness also, like I said, going to be expensive, 14. His run stopping ability also not bad. Only costs 5. So if you're manually upgrading this guy, you can make him super well-rounded, but auto progression usually will not. Maybe you don't want him with 97 finesse moves, and maybe you want him 90 across the board, 90 block shedding, 90 power moves, 90 finesse moves. You could get that with this type archetype pretty easily, and you can't with some of these others. Now we get into the pure power. We kind of already knew about these first 2 archetypes from last year, but the pure power is the new one, the brand new one here, man. And in this video, we're not going to cover that much with abilities. Feel free to factor in abilities information also, but I like to look more at the attributes for these, man, see how they develop their attributes. So one thing you notice, finesse moves non-existent, man. These guys literally cannot rush the passer when it comes to finesse-wise. Power, they're good. They're green. And why, you may ask, why is his finesse moves in the 60s? You see some of these other guys' finesse moves in the 50s. Literally on this category is nowhere for them to upgrade finesse moves, man. Looking at all their categories, finesse moves cannot go up for this archetype. Maybe it's a way, it probably will be a way to change archetypes at some point. We just maybe didn't figure it out yet. But power rusher, or excuse me, pure power, literally cannot upgrade finesse moves. So they're going to focus on that pass rushing ability, because that's what their archetype, that's that first category. So they're going to focus on pass rush and usually also power, because that's the core of their archetype right there. So he got 91 power moves, pretty good. Change direction 71, that's also keyed in with pass rushing. But the thing to note is, like I said, you don't see the finesse moves in this category. Power costs 15, expensive. The quickness 14, expensive. We already know that. The run stop ability 5 is cheap. It's cheap, and he don't really have that much else to upgrade. So you might as well just go with the pass rush and the run stopping ability, and you just going all out on a power rusher at this point. And there's nothing wrong with that. It could work in your dynasty. IQ costs 5, also on the cheaper side, and then health costs 7. I don't know if you had just a health category like this for some of the other archetypes. And then, yeah, unfortunately, like I said, we don't get to see their development trait, but we can only assume these all like star development as they're the best players in the nation. So that's interesting with the pure power. And now you might be asking, it's a fourth archetype. Where is he at? Where is he at? You have to scroll down for quite a while to get your first edge setter. Keep going. Keep going. And we finally get our first one. His highest overall, 89 overall. And we'll come back to him. I just want to scroll so we can see the next one. Let's keep going. The next one, you got to keep going. You're going past all the other archetypes, man. You get your next edge setter, 83 overall in the top right corner, man. I think you should see at this point what archetype you might not want to recruit if you care about players getting the high end overall. It just don't really make sense. So let's look at this 89 overall edge rush or edge setter, as he's the highest in the game right now, literally on both left end and right end, or edge, left end, left edge, right edge. He's literally the best, damn right here. And his skill caps are amazing. He's a 3-star, amazing skill caps, only 2. But the thing to note, his whole thing is setting the edge. He wants to get better at stopping the run. Well, guess what? It's expensive for him to stop the run for some reason. Some of these other archetypes are not as expensive. It costs him 8 to upgrade this ability. And also because he's an edge rusher or edge setter, he want to upgrade his strength, which is also one of the most expensive categories. So it costs him around 14. And he don't really give a damn about rushing no passer. So you see his power moves and finesse moves sitting around, upper 70s, which is not horrible, but certainly not good. And that's kind of resulting into his overall not really developing, because the 2 categories he's focusing on upgrading, and you see, it's the leading categories, power and run stopping, is on the expensive side for him, man. This run stopping ability shouldn't cost 8. I understand it's damn near maxed out, but maybe it should cost 6 at this point, 5 at this point. And I think that's resulting in him not really upgrading quite like the other guys, man. It's super expensive for him to focus on these categories that really is like maybe not even meta. A lot of people probably don't. When you want an edge rusher, when I think of an edge rusher, I'm thinking of a guy that can rush the passer, and a lot of you guys are also, man. You can see quickly an edge setter just not being meta. Let's look at the second best edge setter, who is going to be an 83 overall from West Virginia. He is going to be a 4-star. Okay, we're moving up a little bit. Now the power cost 3 is cheap. If you do manually upgrade these guys, maybe they do have the potential to be solid, but because it is cheap. It's cheap for him to get better at some of this stuff, but they're not focusing on that because that's not his archetype. He want to focus more on the power, which is expensive. He want to get stronger, and he also want to focus on that run stopping ability. And you see here again, it costs 7 for that run stopping ability to go up, and then also his block shedding is high. He's at 88. It's pretty good, but he's kind of just mid, man. It's leading to his overall not really being that high, and him just not really setting himself apart. If you want a super good power rusher, or block shedder, okay, good. Well, you found one. But also, you could find a great block shedder if you go with these pure powers. You get some of these guys coming in with 90 block shedding, and also you still get that power moves, man. I think you're better off just going with the pure power archetype if you're running like a 3-4 defense and you want guys that can also stop the run. I think pure power is just better than the edge setter, and they develop. And we could also look at the left end position. Like I said, the left end position seemed a little bit janky, but what's the highest overall edge setter for your left end? And 83 overall in the top right corner, man. I mean, you see, and they're slow as dirt, 68 speed. You come down to the next guy, 70 speed edge setter. Yes, 99 block shedding. That's amazing. Well, maybe you think, just moving to D tackle. He weighs 220. He's 220, bro. You could move him to D tackle. Don't really know how much height and weight plays an impact on D line and O line this game. Last game it seemed like it wasn't that important, but haven't tested enough. But yeah, he's gonna be a little bit light for D tackle, man. And yeah, so you just come in with less speed, less athletic ability, no pass rush ability for these edge setters. So I think that's pretty much the hyper safety of the defense, at least for the D line, man. There's a few other archetypes at other positions very similar to this where they're damn near useless. Let's move over to defensive tackle, where you do have some new archetypes also, man. You got the pure power coming over to D tackle as well. You get the gap specialist. That's gonna be another good archetype, another new archetype as well. Then you get the power rusher, and then you also get the speed rusher. So the only difference here for D tackle, you get the gap specialist, and that's going to be a useful archetype, man. So let's go through just like we did for the edge rushers and just look at these guys, man. So the pure power, think about this, similar where you're not going to get any finesse moves going up at all. Finesse moves is literally not even on here. It's not a possibility for these guys, man. You get a 5-star here. For him to upgrade his pass rush ability is so damn cheap. It costs him 5, and it's already maxed out. It's maxed out at 99, and look how he's halfway upgrading his bar, man. You literally don't have to touch this no more. I care less about changing direction, man, if I got 99 power moves already. I'd rather him become good at everything else. His power is already at 95, and his strength is at 97. Like, he's already elite with power, and obviously it's the best D tackle in the nation, but he has good speed also, and it's expensive, but we know power and quickness is going to be expensive regardless. The run stop ability is it's upgraded a good portion. It's up to an 87. His block shedding might be only at 79, but only costs 5. We've seen them edge setters at this point, it costs around 8 to upgrade it again, but it only costs 5 points to upgrade this run stop ability. IQ costs 5, and the health costs 7. So point is, these archetypes are very good for D tackle and edge rusher, man. These archetypes are very good. Like I said, first of all, shout out Philadelphia, man. Philadelphia PA guy, man. Should have went to Temple. Should have went to Temple, my guy. But no, these archetypes, pure power for D tackle, usable. Block shedding maybe still on the lower side. I would 100% agree with that. But then you get the gap specialist. That's going to be a little bit more well-rounded, man. So this is going to be kind of more of your nose tackle archetype is kind of how I think of it. You see here, this guy 6'4", 330. Then you look at this guy, 6'1", 335. So yeah, these are going to be more of your nose tackle. Let's look at the individual attributes, man. So he's a 4-star, and for him to upgrade his power, that's kind of what he want to focus on. It costs 15. It's going to be expensive, but it's still not handicapping his overall like we see with the edge setter. His run stop ability costs 8, which is on the expensive side, just like the edge setter. But in this situation, he's actually developing better than the edge setter. So block shedding is up to an 87, which is good, pretty good. And now the finesse moves and the power moves is not nothing to write home about, but that's good enough. That is good enough when you got 96 strength, 87 block shedding, and then those finesse moves and power moves sitting right around 80. That's solid. Then you come in with the low speed, 69. He's a big boy, man. That speed is going to be expensive to upgrade, but also the power and finesse moves on the cheaper side to upgrade. So if you manually upgrade this guy, maybe you don't go with the strength this high at 96. Maybe you cap it off at 90, and then you really get into the power moves and the finesse moves. Maybe even you throw something in the speed to get them a little bit quicker, so you make sure you get them sacks. And then also your IQ costs 4, which is pretty cheap. His awareness only at 75, man. Imagine if he upgraded his awareness. Awareness just shoots your overall up. So he could be like a 99 overall player if he just upgraded his awareness. And then his other gap specialists, similar stats, man. You see here, they're going to prioritize kind of that strength and also block shedding. And then third, they're going to pretty much try to rush the passer. And now you get into power rushing archetype, which was my favorite from last season, man, from last year. These are kind of just the most well-rounded here from last year, but let's look at this situation. So he's a 4-star, 312 pounds. For him to upgrade his power, expensive, but it's already at 96. The run stop ability on the cheaper side. It only costs 5. Block shedding at 82, that's livable. When you got 91 power moves, we could work with that. And also the finesse moves at 81. Like, he could do a little bit of everything, man. I feel like this is kind of like the balanced archetype almost, man, because they do develop the block shedding a little bit. It's not amazing, not as good as the gap specialist, but you're getting more pass rush ability. So this is, like I said, from last year, my favorite archetype. This year, I probably would lean more towards the pure power, but the quickness obviously going to be expensive, and IQ sitting around 5, just like with all the other guys. Now, the last archetype that, we have to find, once again, is going to be your speed rusher, man. Let's start from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11th best D tackle is a speed rusher. And then you get a couple of these speed rushers, but they're kind of maxing out around at 87 overall. Similar to last year, man. Last year, the speed rushers wasn't getting as high in overall as the other two archetypes. And I would say same thing happening this year, man. So speed rushers, I think for me, it's going to be the worst of all of the archetypes. Let's look at this one right here from Michigan. He's 87 overall. And the thing to note with these speed rushers, they're going to come in with the lowest block shedding out of everyone. So this guy got 79, which is not that bad considering, you know, what it could be. A guy like this, next best speed rusher, 74. Then next, 75. Or no, he's a pure power, 75. That's bad for him. But then you get some of these other guys, just 69 on the block shedding, man. So just keep that in mind. Them speed rushers, not ideal for stopping the run at all. So I usually lean away from them, especially since we got the pure power now that you could kind of get the best of both worlds, the block shedding and the pass rush ability. I'll probably lean away from these guys. So the power costs 14 to upgrade. His strength is pretty good, 92. We'll take that. But the run stop ability is a little bit more expensive to upgrade compared to the other archetypes. So I think that's why you see them just having lower block shedding, and they don't want to focus on that. They want to focus on rushing the passer, but they can do that very well. They can do that very well. They could be boundless, man. They could be boundless. So they could get the power moves and the finesse moves like you get on a guy like this, man. 83 power moves, 91 on the finesse moves. Then the quickness, you also get some speed, 77 speed. Damn near could go play linebacker or edge for you. And then also the speed, the quickness costs 12, which is not that expensive. It could get better for sure. And then awareness costs 4, which is pretty much on par. So these guys, nowhere near as bad as the edge setter. I just think they're the worst of all 4 of these defensive tackles. If you want to bring one in, go for it. If he's a gem, go for it. Bring him in. If he has good development, sure. But like I said, I just think they're the worst of the 4. Same with this edge setter, man. I hope this video was useful. That's all we got for y'all boys today, man. If y'all enjoyed this type of content, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what position group y'all want to see broken down. I hope this was useful, man. A lot of information, a lot of talking, but I hope this was useful, man. Let me know what position group y'all want next, and we'll be sure to drop it. Click the video on the screen now for my Purdue rebuild, having a blast for it. Series just started. Tap in.